This paper looks at an analysis of adversarial and cooperative attitudes in construction contracting, specifically how approaches to adversarial procurement might have a lasting effect on project culture. Bidding competitively and based on price is a feature of projects in the engineering construction sectors. UK white papers and literature has in the past questioned this practice and its impact on overall project efficiency. Recommendations have been made for more collaborative approaches between the client and suppliers, adopting approaches more typical in other sectors, but not necessarily wholeheartedly. The UK construction industry is heavily invested in a competitive bidding approach, and the literature charts its reluctance to fully commit or adopt more partnering approaches. The study has been based on the problem statement that construction professionals act in an adversarial manner towards construction contracting, despite the research that proves this problematic for project success and greater sustainable outcomes. The research question being, are construction professionals conditioned by their environment to act against what is mutually beneficial for project success? And the research aim of testing how construction professionals operate in the prisoner's dilemma experiment. Our hypothesis was that construction professionals were conditioned by their environment to act against what is mutually beneficial for project success. An unpaired experimental design study was set up to test this. The intervention group would be quantity surveyors working on UK construction projects, and the control group would be non-construction people selected at random. The prisoner's dilemma can be defined as a paradox in decision analysis where two individuals acting in their own self-interests do not produce the optimal outcome. It's set up in such a way that both parties choose to protect themselves at the expense of the other participant. As a result, both participants find themselves in a worse state than if they had cooperated with each other in the decision-making process. These are two diagrams I've downloaded from the web to try and convey how the prisoner's dilemma is played. Each of the two players have cards, and they play either defect or cooperate. In the diagram, these players are represented as remain silent, i.e. cooperate, or confess, i.e. defect. The game is used to test all sorts of issues in game theory, and it's the basis on which all games are built. The best option here for both players is the cooperate. You score 3 each or 6 between them, and you may do better if you defect and trick the other into the cooperative play, but studies have shown that this nasty strategy over even a short time underperforms a more nice cooperative strategy. You may think that doesn't sound quite right, it's counterintuitive, but in his chapter Nice Guys Finish First, Dawkins, using Axelrod's research into the prisoner's dilemma, conclusively shows that nice and forgiving strategies in the game outperform nasty and unforgiving strategies. In the end, I had 3 groups. One, a QS office involved in cooperative bidding, here shown as the main contractor. A QS and PM team that worked exclusively on framework and partnering contracts, and the control group who had no affiliation with the construction sector. And the findings were that the control group, they cooperate. QS professionals are much less likely to, pointing to the probability that our professions themselves have a culture that stands in the way of more partnering approaches. Of course, this does have implications for practice and the sustainability of projects in general. The findings allow for the inference that successive recommendations for more collaborative approaches are culturally resisted. The COVID-19 lockdown has limited my sample sizes, and so the possibility of a type 2 statistical error is present. A type 2 error might mean that the results are down to chance alone and show a positive correlation where there is not one. And to resolve this, just a larger sample size would be required. Thank you. Any questions?